So shall they fear the name of the Lord Yahweh from the west, and his glory from the rising of the sun. When the enemy shall come in like a flood, the Spirit of the Lord Yahweh shall lift up a standard against him. Isaiah chapter 59, verse 19. Shalom. I want to start off by giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakha Kodash. Double honors to our venerable apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well, and peace and blessings to the Lord's elect, the house of David. All right, so Brother Aaron coming back at you with a quick lesson, and Lord willing to be edifying and informative unto the elect. All right. I have an article here. This is almost breaking news. Okay, it's an emergency. It says National Guard deployed. And it says gangs seize U.S. cities, America under siege. Okay, and this is pretty much, I say, the beginning of what we've been talking about going into so-called martial law, and ultimately the specific reason why this is all happening goes back to something known as Rex 84. Okay, and we always used to bring that out, Rex 84. The King Alfred plan, all right, all these things that people deemed conspiracy theories, all right, it's all happening, all right. The build up to it is what we're seeing now. Okay, now we're gonna go through this this article real quick. I'll put the source in the description as well, and then we're gonna tie in a few points. All right, it says National Guard deployed as gangs seize control of U.S. cities. America is under siege by violent criminal organizations. Urban warfare, drug trafficking, and gang takeovers are spreading fast. Law enforcement battles for control as we speak. Okay? It says the National Guard has been deployed in a shocking response to gangs and drug cartels seizing control of U.S. cities. Oh boy. Let's see. Man, it says law enforcement. You know, it's crazy because nobody's really talking about this. I thought this would be like major news across, all news networks, at least. But that's why the Lord made us watchmen, right? So let's get that, and then we continue. Okay. The book of Ezekiel, chapter 3 and verse 17, it says, Son of man, I have made thee a watchman unto the house of Israel. Therefore hear the word at my mouth, and give them warning from me. All right, so the watching, all right, is constant. Okay, day and night. All right, you have during the 4 watches on the day and the 4 watches overnight. Right, you always have constantly. You have somebody on the watchtower watching something. Okay, so you have the 6th hour to the 9th hour, which is the start of the day. 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. is the first watch, and then from 9 a.m. to 12 noon is the second watch. And then from 12 noon to 3 p.m. is the third watch. And then from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. is the fourth watch. And then the rotation switches over to the which would be the 5th watch, 6th watch, 7th, 8th. All right. And then of course the 9th. But you have the 8th, Salakia. All right. But then it starts again for the evening watch. right? And it goes all throughout the clock and so on and so forth, right? So we have, the Lord has made us that, men so that we can watch these things that's going on around the world and then report on it so we can give the elect, right, the hopeful elect, the signal, okay, that get ready, all right, at least what time in prophecy that we're in, okay. And I've been saying it, many brothers, elders, apostles, we've been saying it that, this ending this year into 2025, things are prepared for that 2025, chaos, so to speak, right? Where they're going to be able to finally enact martial law. But before that, the build up to that is what we're seeing now. All right. All throughout the year, you've seen this migrant crisis. We've been saying it, that they're going to use this. This is a plot. Okay. This is a reason why. The reason why they're creating all this is going to play out eventually. And who is it going to affect the most? The American people. Okay. Because that's why it was created. It's designed that way for a reason. Okay, so let's read a little bit. It says, law enforcement is in a race against time to combat this escalating crisis. There you go. The word crisis has been used. Okay, the word crisis has been used. So now, based on what they've been saying, when I say they, I'm talking about these so-called elites and stuff, when they come out and push this poly crisis and the crisis and how to combat these crises, right? A crisis is basically, it goes back to Greek krisis, which is the defining moment between life and death, right? So if, let's say, a doctor, somebody gets into a like an accident or whatever, and it's emergency, they send you into the hospital, all right, you're in a crisis mode. So the doctor has to decide, all right, is this person going to live so I can do whatever I can to make them, live, or the damages are done where you're not going to live. So, those people that, they probably get shot and then they get taken and then it says, oh, they died when they got to the hospital. That was the crisis mode. All right. So the moment where you could either be saved or you could pass out or pass away, that middle point, that right there is like, shit, that's the crisis. Right. So America is in a crisis in and of itself. And you have crises within the crisis, if that makes sense. Right. Because America is at her dying point where she's not going to be saved, as it says in the book of Jeremiah, right, that we would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Right. She will not be healed. It's over with. Okay, because Isaiah 47 says that she's being brought down to the ground, saith the Lord. Okay, so this is all the downfall of America. So she's in her crisis. Okay, but within her crisis, downfall, there's many different crises in there. So she's done. She's through. It's over with. You can't solve this crisis. No, they're all tied in. One affects the other and so on and so forth. And then it builds on upon each other. Okay, so continuing, it says, with lives and infrastructure at stake. You hear that? With lives and infrastructure at stake. So we could see a whole bunch of different T attacks, whether it's prior to the election, whether it's during the election, whether it's post-election, whatever the case may be. They could do the election and then between time of whoever wins it to be sworn in, right, they could start some wild shit, or they could just, something big has to happen. All right, in order for them to be justified in whatever they're about to be bringing out in 2025. Okay, that's something big. Still hasn't happened yet. Okay, you've had many things happen. Many things. Right? But the major thing hasn't happened yet. And that's what we're waiting for. And that's going to shift everything into overdrive as soon as that happens. Just watch. Okay, and they're preparing for it. Okay, it says America is under attack from within. This is no drill. In a series of unprecedented developments, Texas, California, and Michigan are in full crisis mode. Oh boy. Armed gangs and international drug cartels have taken over entire apartment complexes, holding thousands of innocent Americans hostage in their own homes. And you had the mainstream media, all right, on the left, so-called left, saying that, oh, that's not true, Bro, they always lie. They are always lying. These motherfuckers done told the whole American people to believe that January 6th was the worst in our democracy and it was a threat to our democracy. We all watched what happened that day. All right. We all watched what happened that day. We saw how they got the cops who were removing the barricades for the people to start storming in. You had people recording it. It was like a choreographed play. That's what it looked like if you were watching it. Okay. And then you had Trump come out and declare, hey, everyone go home, da da da, hey, let's leave, let's be peaceful, da da da. But yet they say, oh, he's the one who incited it. And it's look, man, the Democrats or the left, both of them, they always lying. All right, mainstream media always lies. Okay, so when Trump is saying, yo, these migrants are out in your cities and they're catching your pets and eating them and all this, some places it's happening. Okay, it's happening, but then they turn around and say, oh, there's no, the fact checkers say, fact checkers, you know? Anyway, so continue, it says, they're holding thousands of innocent Americans hostage in their own homes, right? It says the National Guard is now boots on the ground, fighting back against this brazen criminal takeover. How come we not heard about this? Why is this a silent thing? Why isn't this being, made into a big deal? Because it is a big deal. Okay, it is a big deal, and everyone should be paying attention to it. All right, it says Texas has become ground zero for this escalating violence. In El Paso, criminal gangs have taken control of entire residential areas. Gangs have seized multiple apartment complexes, forcibly evicting residents or forcing them to pay outrageous rents. Listen to this. This is domestic teaism. And it's spreading fast. There you go. That's the red right there. Domestic teaism. Now, remember a few years ago, the FBI came out and said that 90% of American citizens are already on the list or labeled as domestic teas. Okay, 90%. And then you tie in with what's been going on over the past couple of years, where basically they're trying to push this narrative of those who speak the Bible are a hate group. Okay, if you speak certain things in the Bible against the Jays, right, anti-Sem, all this bullshit, right, you'll be deemed a hate group. Okay, and they coming out with all these advertisements about time out for hate. There should be no hate, no more hate, da da da. It's like, what are you talking about? Okay, that's the first question. What the hell what are you saying? Time out for hate, say no to hate, all this extra shit. Like, what are you talking about? Right? That's the first question. Secondly, if 90% of Americans are considered domestic teas, and what they're saying here is a domestic tea, or this is what's happening right now in these different states is considered domestic teaism, what could possibly be coming out of this? Just like they always do, if you follow their pattern, are they going to paint this problem with a broad brush and then involve everyone else in there? Because once you get that label of a domestic tea, you could be facing the same results, right? Maybe that was why it was created. Let's keep going. It says, in San Antonio, one gang occupied the Padilla apartments, turning over 300 units into their own fortress. Police raids, when it was happening months ago in Colorado, they were saying that when they hit up the cops and all that, they would say, yo, that's not our problem. That's the Fed's problem. We can't do nothing about that. Because they were aiding in this. Who the hell says that they're law enforcement and they swear an oath to protect the Constitution from enemies, both foreign and domestic, but yet you have domestic problems happening to the people against their so-called Constitution, and you stand down and say that's not our problem, but you swore an oath though, so that should be your problem. Well, guess what? Now you are becoming the problem. Okay, those who stand up for the Constitution and speak, oh, we need our Constitution. Well, the Democrats are saying that these are not illegals. They can come in. You can't call them illegal immigrants. As a matter of fact, we're about to give them voters' rights. We're about to give them so many different rights. We're giving them aid. We're giving them money that you can't get. All these different things that they were doing. And then they turn around and say, oh, no, these are domestic teas. We need to go get them. What's going on here? It says police raids have led to the arrest of 19 gang members, right? But this is just the tip of the iceberg. Of course it is, because this goes deeper. All right, this is just the stage being set for something greater. And we're going to get to that. It says a top gang enforcer was captured, proving just how deep these criminal networks run. Now, they need to go look for the CIA and the FBI and them. All right, these alphabet agencies, they are the top criminal networks. All right, not these petty gang members. We don't care about them. All right. Anyway, it says the deployment of the National Guard is no longer limited to just Texas. Okay, And we've heard what Trump said. If Trump comes in, Nero, what has he said? He said, we gonna use, it's gonna be quick, All right, it's gonna be quick. And this is going, I believe through the Spirit, this is all going to lead to the blue helmets, the UN troops coming in, because it's not just an American problem. It's pretty much a global problem. They opened up the borders. You had all these different people. You got France, Germany, like mass state countries that had all these people come in, right? There's a story months ago that there were migrants coming from Africa and some coming from the Middle East, right? A place fraudulently known as the Middle East, which is really Western Asia, right? They were coming in and they'll find a way. It was like this long, like, way of lingering and laggering. Like, it was just going around the whole damn continents and shit. And then they end up right in Cincinnati. They end up in Cincinnati and then they disperse from there. I said, what? How we? Well, again, this is all being set up for something bigger. Okay. So continuing, it says, and as we're reading this, keep in mind, all right, something known as Rex 84. We're going to get there. All right. This is exactly what they said was going to be the plot for it. Okay. And we're reading the plot as in real time. Okay. So the real reason why this is all happening, we're about to read. Let's go. It says California and Michigan. So Texas is down south. California is out west. Michigan is up north, right? Midwest. Okay. What about the east? We're going to see. It says, with troops now, it says California and Michigan are also in the line of fire. With troops now active in multiple cities, this is a nationwide emergency and the Guard has been ordered to secure borders, shut down trafficking routes, and regain control of gang-occupied territories. Okay? Shut down the border. Or secure the border, shut down trafficking routes. Interesting. It says, this is not a temporary deployment. Ooh. What does that mean? It says guardsmen are stationed not just for combat, but to secure logistics, communications, and medical support as this operation drags on for what may be a year or more. America's cities are turning into battle zones. See that chaos that they were looking for? I guess has begun. Odo ab chaos. All right. The mantra for the New World Order to commence, to emerge. An emergency will happen for that to emerge. Okay. It says, and it's happening again. This is all being done under wraps, right? In the darkness. When they're done, right? It was at Micah 2:1. Once they're finished and everything is set, it's gonna come out into the open. And it's gonna come to a shock. Come as a shock for a lot of people, but for those of us who are paying attention, it's just gonna be another play in the book. All right, cool. They're here in this stage now. All right, what's next? Wow. It says this crisis didn't just appear overnight. For months, law enforcement agencies have been carrying out covert surveillance on these gangs. It's not just these gangs, it's everybody else who's against their system. Remember, something known as TTID, tag, trace, and identify. The gangs thing is just a facade. They don't care about that. They let them in anyway. Okay? The bigger picture here is this is the stage that they set to come after Americans. Okay? Those who are against the system, those who are so-called conspiracy theorists, those who are believing in the Bible, they're going to bunch us all in. This is the start. That heavy persecution we've been talking about, this is how it begins. The whole gang thing is just a facade. Okay? It's just a facade. All right? It says, and that's how they allow the American people to support that facade. Because, they're going after the gangs that have been taking over and terrorizing our lands and our cities. And, we need something to be done. And yeah, bro, this is what's being done. Okay? It says months of investigations, hours of intelligence gathering, and multiple raids have only scratched the surface of a well-oiled drug trafficking machine. These aren't just street gangs. They're global operations, and they're winning the war on drugs. You hear that? Global operations. The UN is going to step in. Okay? It says it's not just the gang warfare. Americans are dying from a flood of illegal drugs pouring across the border, with cities drowning in meth, fentanyl, and other deadly substances. Well, who put them out there? Look no further than the CIA. This is what they do. Okay? This is what they do. All right? These things don't just happen out of nowhere. No. They're behind closed doors setting things up. All right? Continue, says, the human toll is staggering, with addiction rates skyrocketing as law enforcement battles not only the cartels but a public health disaster. Interesting. Very interesting. Public health, huh? We've heard that one many times. It says, as if it wasn't enough, the timing couldn't be worse. The southern border is about to be hit by a migrant tsunami as a massive caravan heads north from Mexico. Thousands are on the move, creating the potential for a humanitarian disaster on top of this criminal crisis. Ooh. Okay? It says, Border Patrol is sounding the alarm, warning of a record-breaking surge as winter approaches. With political tensions boiling and the 2024 elections looming, you see how they're putting all these things in there? Huh? It says, the future of border control is uncertain. Ooh, I mean, that makes you, okay, well, if it's uncertain, what could possibly happen? Well, we need the government to step in and make sure that they protect us from anything that could be, yeah. It says, if former President Trump makes a return to power, the crackdown on illegal crossings could get even more intense. He's been said that. Okay? But will it be enough? It will not be enough. All right? Because guess what? It's not just enough because guess what? What if they say that, oh, look, well, guess what? You Americans have been, indoctrinated by these gangs. We need to come after everybody who is this and who believes in that because that plays a role in why we have this. Okay? It says this isn't just a local problem. This is a national emergency. That's the key. National emergency. National emergency. Okay? The National Guard's deployment is a desperate attempt to stop the bleeding, but the fight is far from over. Will America be able to reclaim its streets? Will the law prevail over violent criminal organizations? Well, no. It says the ripple effects of this crisis are spreading fast. And the implications for the nation's security are terrifying. Stay alert, stay informed, and be prepared as this dangerous situation continues to evolve. It says, law enforcement and military forces are stretched thin. If this criminal siege is not broken soon, the consequences could be catastrophic. America is on the edge of chaos, and the battle to save it has only begun. Well, guess what? There ain't no battle to save nothing. Okay, because this is all being set up, right? Everything we just read. Check this out. What is Rex 84? Okay, short for Readiness Exercise 1984, Bravo. All right, was a classified scenario and drill development or developed by the United States federal government to detain large numbers of United States residents deemed to be, quote, national security threats. When you have a state of emergency or national emergency, there are certain executive orders that become activated. Okay? And once those become activated, typically your American Bill of Rights and constitutional rights and so on and so forth typically become null and void because you're in an emergency situation for at least 6 months. Congress cannot look at any of those executive orders and so on and so forth. And we've seen a lot of executive orders being signed over the past, I'll say, 16 years. Okay? From Obama till now. Oh, yeah. Shit, even a little bit further than that. With Baby Bush. Okay? It says, in the event that the president declared a national emergency, the article did say that we're in a national emergency because of all these things, right? It says, the scenario envisioned state defense forces rounding up 500,000 undocumented Central American residents and 4,000 American citizens whom the U.S. Attorney General has designated as national security threats. See? As part of the secret continuity of government program. These people will be detained at 22 military bases in concentration camps run by the Federal Emergency Management Agency. Did we not talk about FEMA a couple of weeks ago about how they're all of a sudden being brought into the forefront? Huh? FEMA has been docile for many different hurricanes that's been happening over the past couple of years. You don't really hear FEMA like that. And all of a sudden, what happened in North Carolina, what happened in Florida, now they say something else is happening in Cuba, right? All of a sudden, FEMA is out, and they're out there just telling you, listen, we're not here to help you. Okay, we're on a mission here. They might say to spin it around and say, oh, because of misinformation, our jobs have become dangerous. Fuck out of here, man. That BS can't fly no more. Okay? When you in that position and you doing that kind of job, you got to do what you got to do. Okay? All this, misinformation is becoming this, and this rhetoric that they keep pushing, that people's, what people are saying online is threatening them in real life. It's like, bro, nobody believes that shit. So go sit down someplace. All right? They got all these females that they put in these power positions, and they come out and push this emotional bullshit rhetoric nobody cares about. Okay? Oh, misinformation is making our jobs hard, and it's spreading lies that we're not doing our jobs, and it's making our agents in danger. And you got militia groups, running down and hunting FEMA guys. What? What you talking about? Militia groups coming after FEMA? Are you niggas nuts? Like, the lies are just so obnoxious now. It's just crazy, and that's why people are starting to get pissed. So now they got to come in and say, yo, based on what we're seeing online, it looks like, yo, Jake, they tap into people's phones and all that. Jake is regaining some form of consciousness that Esau is being threatened by. Okay? I was doing a job yesterday, and I seen a couple of Jakes. Of course, they in their folly, they're still smoking their weed and all this extra shit, but they're mostly grouped up. And it's not on a violent energy. It's very peaceful, really. A lot of these Jakes, they're starting to, band together. I didn't see no women. There was just like 3-4 men, and they were just chill, relaxed. Maybe it was the weed, I don't know, right? But they were just there and sitting on their porch, like some morning sometime, sitting on their porch, just chopping it up. And the conversation that they're having, I kind of heard, I overheard. Let's just say, because I wasn't too far from where they were at. And I overheard them, and the kind of things that they were speaking about was conscious, They were like, oh, yeah, man, they just try to set us up, man. They try to, the whole government shit, now they talking about, how this whole thing, we're going to have a civil war, man. These people don't turn their ways. And I'm like, oh, shit, And they had dogs around them, like these little puppy dogs and shit. I'm saying, oh, shit, that's interesting, And when I was leaving, I was like, hey, man, you got some nice dogs over there, man. I just sparked a little conversation as I was leaving. He said, yo, God bless. That's what you're starting to hear a lot more, right? Jake is starting to have some low-key vibration to him, like a positive vibration to them. So these conversations they're having, Esau's tapping into their phones and listening in, and they're like, yo, this shit is not no joke, man. This YouTube stuff is really, these Jakes really know that they're Israelites, And that's a different energy. That's a different ball game altogether. They know that they're Israelites. Like, they know. And they might not outright just come out and say, oh, I'm a Hebrew Israelite, but it's in their mind. It's in their conscious, And it makes sense. They might not watch 1 or 2 videos. They might watch 10, 20. And I fuck with that. What they're saying is true. See? And that's all you need. Once Jake starts to, they might not be of the elect, right? Because a lot of Jakes going down this side. They're not going to be of the elect, but they've heard the word. Okay, and it's done something to them. You see, now they're, some Jakes coming from prison, right? They come out and they like their whole life is changed. Like, there's something about them. It's like a consciousness, They move different. It's like a discipline, and Esau doesn't like that. Okay, and there's many different. This is just New York. There's many different places, different states that you've seen that. Of course, you got the folly, but they show the folly. They don't show the conscious part. They don't show the part where Jake is actually putting themselves together. But we see it. We see it, man. We see it. And we know what's going on. All right. We know exactly what's going on. Okay. Let me see if I can find a little bit more. Let's see. I believe okay. It says the plan was first discovered by Christic Institute in 1984, going back to Rex 84, and first revealed in detail in a major, like Klaus Schwab says, major, right? Major daily newspaper by reporter Alfonso Chardy in the July 5th, 1987 edition of the Miami Herald. Possible reasons for such a roundup were reported to be widespread opposition to a U.S. military invasion abroad. Ooh, isn't that what you see now? They sent an aid. What was it? I think the Defense Secretary, Lloyd Austin, he met up with, what's his name? Zelensky. And he promised a certain amount of money, millions, over to Ukraine again to spark them making a launch into Russia or whatever. And that's going, China says, yo, if they make that move, we come in, we ban it with Russia. We gonna fight against NATO. Fuck this. So we at that time. Okay. So they doing what they got to do. But again, a lot of Americans are opposing these foreign countries receiving aid from America, and the domestic people or the American people are not receiving anything from it. A lot of people are pissed off about that because they see it. It's being done right in the open. Yeah, you're going to have Kamala Harris come out and say, we're going to send $450 million to Lebanon. Bitch, you niggas are sending money to Israel to bomb Lebanon. And then you turn around and say, we're going to give money to the people who suffered the bombing that we aided in Lebanon. But yet the American people over here, they're not going to get shit. I'm not going to sit here and say, I'm going to do something that's going to benefit black people. No. You know? People are sick of her shit. You know? When I come into presidency, these are the things that I'm going to do to change. Bitch, you still here. You the one who started all this in the first place. You and Joe. All right? Talking about, Joe, we made it. We did it, Joe. We did. Bitch, her voice was, oh my God, bro. Yo. You know? But that's how the American people feel. They're just so fed up with this shit. They see it. That, yo, this BS that they pushing in our face, man. We sick of this, man. You know, life is hard and you people keep joking with us. That's how the people are feeling. See? So they're going to do something about that, man. This is how it begins. They're using this migrant crisis as an excuse. These gangs are raiding our places. We need to do something. That's just a smokescreen, like I said, for this. Okay? It says, possible reasons for such a roundup was reported to be widespread opposition to a U.S. military invasion abroad, such as if the United States were to directly invade Central America. To combat what the government perceived as subversive activities, the plan also authorized the military to direct the movement of civilian populations at state and regional levels, according to Professor Diana Reynolds. Okay? Let's read a little bit more. It says the exercise or the existence of master military contingency plans, of which Rex 84 was a part, Operation Garden Plot, and a similar earlier exercise, Lantern Spike, were originally revealed by journalist Ron Ridenour. It says, who summarized his findings in a 1975 article in Counter Spy magazine. Starting in 1981, this is just a little background of Rex 84. It says, starting in 1981, the DOD, which is Department of Defense, right? They are on some shit now, and FEMA, right, Federal Emergency Management Agency, began a tradition of biannual joint exercises to test civil mobilization using the names Proud Saber and Rex 82. In 1984, the scenario involved a U.S. Army rehearsal of airlifting the entire 82nd Airborne Division, which is about 15,000 troops, okay, from Fort Bragg in North Carolina under the cover. North Carolina is back in the frame, okay, under the cover of night, and flying them to either El Salvador or Nicaragua as a simulated invasion to enforce a state of martial law. This part of this exercise had been code-named Rex 84 Night Train, and the overall readiness exercise involving 34 federal agencies was code-named Rex 84, with FEMA's role in assisting the DOD as Rex 84 Alpha. Okay? Later, when the mass detention scenario involving FEMA was added at the request of FEMA Director Luis Guifrida, all right, and Reagan advisor Edwin Meese, and personally authorized by Ronald Reagan, the mass detention scenario was codenamed Rex 84 Bravo. Okay, it was modeled on a 1970s Gefrida meets Reagan exercise in California known as Operation Cable Splicer. Okay, so Lord willing, we might do something on that later. All right, but I just want to highlight that this is what's leading to these things are leading to Rex 84. Okay, they've had this since the 1960s, 70s, 80s. They've been planning for this because they started to see Jake, start rising up. All right, back in the 70s. Not only with this truth, but you had all these different groups like the Black Panther movement and all these different things. What's the other one? Yeah, Jake coming together, the afros and all that. I forget the civil rights movement and all that. All those things. Those were things that Esau was like, oh, hold on. The Chinese people could do it. The Arabs could do it. The Moabites could do it. Everybody could do it. But you niggas, you start rising up and start bringing all this conscious things and questioning what we doing and all. That's a problem. But see, now it's on a whole nother level where they can't really fully control because it's on the internet. That's very hard to control. Very, very hard to control. That's why they're pushing this propaganda of, oh, this is misinformation, oh, this is conspiracy, this is this. Nope. All right. This is just the stage being set. Okay. The machines are being oiled up and oiled down. Getting ready to go traffic on you. Oh, I knew, man. I wanted to say what I'm not going to say. All right. But they're using this whole street gang bullshit. All right. As a ploy to bring in a lot of these measures. And it's going to affect the American people. Now, let me see if I can pull one more thing up and then we're going to close it out. All right, let's see if the information is still there. FBI on domestic. FBI report on domestic. Let me see something. Hold on. Let me type it in correct. FBI says 90% of Americans are domestic, and when you go into it, I remember this. They said that your political support and affiliation could end you up on that domestic T list. Domestic terrorists. Let's see what we get. Damn, Google ain't helping me. Let's see. Oh, damn, but let me see something here. Okay, it says this is dated 2022, November 16, 2022. It says an investigation by the Senate Homeland Security Committee alleges that the FBI, the Department of Homeland Security, and leading social media companies are not adequately addressing the growing threat of domestic tea or teaism, especially white supremacists and anti-government extremists. You hear that? Anti-government. With the election coming up, interesting, right? It says in a 128-page report obtained by NBC News, the committee's majority Democrats say federal law enforcement agencies have not appropriately allocated resources to match the metastasizing threat and have failed to systematically track and report TTID, track, trace, identify, right? Report data on domestic teaism incidents as required by federal law. Okay, let's see, is there more? I think there is more. Let's see. There you go. Unfortunately, our counterterrorism agencies have not effectively tracked the data that you need to measure this threat. Okay, cool. But this is why the NSA was created, though, right? The National Spying Agency. This is why they were created. They spy on everyone, especially the people that work within these agencies. They're very, after this whole Snowden thing, they're very on that shit, man. They do extreme vetting. Like, it's like they rat on each other. They watch each other. Like, it's like, oh my God, they spy on everyone. It's like what they say. Privacy is long gone. Like it's archaic now. Nobody's even thinking about privacy anymore. There's no such thing. It says a YouTube spokeswoman said the platform is acting to block extremist content. Again, what is extremist content? All this vague shit. right? Twitter did not immediately provide comment on response or in response to a request. Of course they wouldn't. The report found that the FBI and DHS continue to spend more on international terrorism, despite saying for years that domestic terrorism now poses a greater threat to Americans. Yeah, right. And when they say Americans, they're talking about the government, not the American people. All right, that's why they call our democracy, our democracy. That's continuity of government. It's not really about the people. All right, it says the investigation also found that social media companies have failed to meaningfully address the growing presence of extremism on their platforms. There you go. That's the family of the word coming in too. Okay, it says and that the business models of 4 leading social media outlets, Meta, TikTok, Yeah, I'm looking for this thing here. Hold on. Damn, bro. Okay, right here. It says both DHS and FBI define homegrown violent extremists or terrorists inspired by foreign ideologies. The report points out that the people accused of killing 23 in El Paso, Texas, and 10 people in Buffalo, New York, were not given that designation, though they reportedly claimed inspiration from the International Tea attack in Christchurch, New Zealand, among other racist and anti-Sem ideologies. See how they bunch it all in? At the same time, the FBI categorized a Muslim man who killed U.S. military, who unalived U.S. military personnel in a July 2015 mass shooting that unalived 4 U.S. Marines and a Navy sailor in Tennessee as a homegrown violent extremist. It says despite not having information on which international Tea organization supposedly inspired the attack, the report said. Right here, the report said a change in how the FBI categorizes domestic Tea ideologies has been a hindrance to understanding the problem. In 2017, FBI created a new category of domestic Teaism ideology called Black Identity Extremists. This is where they're trying to create this false narrative that we who teach the Bible are part of this so-called Black Identity Extreme XT group. Okay, when you go into the Southern Poverty Law Center, all right, and the ADL and all these different clown groups that they created to protect their BS agendas and lies from anyone who's speaking the truth about it. This is it. This is it right here. Okay, now the FBI is saying this. It says what? BIE, right? But then stopped using it. By 2019, the FBI combined all forms of racially motivated extremism, including the pre-existing category of white supremacist violence, WSV, into one category called racially motivated violent extremism. Right? It says this change obscures the full scope of white supremacist Tea attacks, and it has prevented the federal government from accurately measuring domestic Teaism threats, the report said. The report also criticized the FBI and DHS as having been conservative in hunting for threat intelligence posted publicly on social media. The FBI has said that a torrent of threat information leading up to the January 6th attack, you see how the January 6th attack was not specific enough to have prompted action. Let's see. I think the point has been made, right? But the whole gang thing is just a smokescreen, like I said, a setup for something greater. All right, and of course these things always come up small, and then they manifest, and then they fester into something greater. Next thing you know, the whole damn country is under some type of martial law. Okay, so we'll see, man. We'll see how this thing plays out. But I just want to bring this out real quick. Get a last precept here. We're gonna close it out because this is all Esau's doing. All right, but ultimately, it's Yahweh Bashem Yahushai's doing. Okay, it's the book of Revelation, chapter 12, verse 12. It says, "Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time." Okay, that great wrath is none other than that flood coming in. Okay, what's that? 2nd Ezra, the 16th chapter, starting off at the 68th verse. All right, the multitude that's going to be coming in upon those that fear the Lord. So yeah, man, it's coming. All right, let's get this, and then we end it off. All right, it's the book of 2 Corinthians 2:11. Lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. Anyway, I'm gonna leave it off there, Lowell, and you're edified and informed. In closing, I'd like to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakha Kodash, the water Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai. And until next time, Shalom.